risk, doors should be locked, it should have biometric access, it should have card. They will say that look at the door, that is my toilet door. So you need to consider the business aspect also. That's what we are always trying to focus. Okay, that was another example, but looking at this, so you need to consider the fact that what could be the impact. Not all vulnerabilities are issues. You should consider that if this vulnerability gets exploited, how big the impact could be for the organization. So especially organizations are concerned whether we will be fined or not, or what could be the fine, or whether we will be jailed or something like that. Okay. Then there are a lot of other regulations like FDA, FFIEC, SOX, then Indian IT Act 2000, which we studied in the morning itself, then RBI Act, SEBI Act, and there are a lot of other acts for each domains. Say for example, stock exchanges. So we have NSE, BSE guidelines, which are specific to us. If you go in US, then there is something else. So on and so on. Let's look at one another case study where information leakage or improper error handling, what we popularly call as, which is the A6. Now, have you ever heard of something called as data mining? Data mining is basically you are diving through all the data which you have and you are trying to make some sense out of that data. Okay? It could be business data or it could be some data which could lead you towards the business data, which is also okay. So, this is a case study where it is a local search engine. What is a local search engine? Google is what? Local search engine? Yes or no? No. Then what is a local search engine?
Internet. Specific to an application or internet. Specific to a network.
Any popular local search engine? Well, that is also one of the examples, but what we are referring over here is something like Just Dial.
Yeah.
Okay, Just Dial is also one of the local search engines. Suppose I want to find out restaurants in this area, which I'm not sure what this is.
Which you did last night. Which you did last night.
I was trying to find out one, not restaurant, but I was trying to find out hotel, so I just followed Just Dial. So there I come from. But if I do the same thing in Google might not give me that much help, which are Just Dial can give me, right? So, this is a case study about one of the local search engines. So, what was happening? What were the key concerns for them? Now, let's understand what the problem they are facing or what is something which they are not able to sleep at night. Okay. Growing competition. Now, as you know, Google was also trying to come into this game of local search engine, right? They were in fact trying to buy Just Dial, but Just Dial just said no. Need to expand rapidly through resellers and franchise model. Naturally, okay, Just Dial started from one particular location. Tomorrow they want to expand to Pune, to Bangalore, to Chennai, to many other Delhi and all. They need to have some local partnership or some franchise which can do the searching for them. They will go out, they will find out, there is this restaurant, there is one hotel, there is one not dance bar, but and then again, then they'll collect this database, okay, and then they'll come back to Just Dial and they'll say that, okay, these are the places, this is the name, this is the phone number, this is the contact person, right? So, what is their business? Their business is about data. Here, for local search engine, this is their data. So, low competitive, so threats could be from their angle also, that if suppose some franchise goes ahead and joins to his competitor, so all the database which he has collected will now simply go to the competitor. Okay. Then external web application test. So running repeated search queries, changing session IDs, changing source IP addresses. This is something what they were looking for. They said that someone could come up and say that they can run repeated queries against their local search engine, and similarly they can create a database at their own end. So this is like mining data. Someone is doing repetitive search at restaurants in Mumbai, restaurants in Kolkata, restaurants in Chennai, restaurants in this, restaurant, and they will be able to replicate the database, right? So what they had done is that in this case we were doing security audit for them. So in this case we were aware of the fact that that they are having. How did they mitigate this? That someone can do data mining for them? Is that they had put a rule in their web application that if suppose someone coming from a single source IP address executes more than 200 queries in 30 minutes, and repeat, a query coming from a single source IP address running more than 30 queries, more than 200 queries within 30 minutes. Now naturally this is not a job of a human. A human cannot do that. Suppose you want to really look for something, you will search it and you will read the entries, then you make some sense. If you not find it, again you run the query. So max to max, how many queries you can run within 30 minutes? Maximum 20 to 30, not 200 definitely. So this is how they used to find out that there is an automated query running on their web application.
Why do the genuine query that has been written to achieve the task?
But will a human do it?
It could be a very curious query. It's just a lot of tasks that has to be achieved. Obviously, a guy will be writing a query to achieve this task. Yeah, that's a genuine query. That's a genuine.
I agree to your fact. I don't disagree to your fact. But as a human, can you run 200 queries within 30 minutes?
Yes.
And that is what they want to block.
But it's a genuine query. I really love Pune and I want to know all that stuff.
But see, agree. But after every query, you will sit, you will read through it, you will understand. If you will not find, then only you will go ahead with some other queries, right? Why will you proactively go ahead and find out all the restaurants where you will not even go? Will you do Google search for something where you don't require it? You don't want to go to, suppose, back to UK, okay? Why will you search something in UK? That's you are the exceptional case.
Corner case.
Well, so is this concept here that 200 IP addresses, 200 queries cannot be run in a 30 minutes? Okay, so this is how they used to block. They used to say that, okay, you want to run, then you wait. They used to apply a penalty. That is what they apply as a penalty, is that they used to blacklist the IP address for one particular day. If someone does that, okay, if someone does that query, they used to blacklist that, and the next day it used to be automatically whitelisted. So they used to script, they used to run on their web server. So we did that application testing. Then there was also they were using WAP. That is, they wanted them to promote for a WAP service also. This local search engine was doing WAP service. They were giving the service on mobile phones. So we did a pen test for both web application and for the WAP service. So for the web application, we didn't find nothing. I mean, we didn't find amazing because that web application was fairly secure. But we did a WAP testing. Now in WAP testing, we realized that it used to put some counter. Okay? If you look at the screenshot says that they used to put a counter saying that ID is equal to. Okay? So when the first time I used to run the query, it used to say ID is equal to 1. The second time I used to run the query, it says ID is equal to 2. How used to come? Because the source ID used to remain the same thing. Right? Source IP used to remain same thing, and I am running the same query. So it knows that this query is coming from this IP address only. So ID is equal to 1, ID is equal to 2, ID is equal to 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till 200. Okay, after that we saw that it used to blacklist. So we waited for 1. The next day what we did is that every time when it used to reach 200, we used to again make it 0. So we used to trap it. So as you can see here, we were trapping the request, and in this way we were able to run more than 200 queries within 30 minutes. Okay. Now, this is something what we call as risk-based penetration testing. If you consider the same thing from a traditional penetration testing perspective, first of all, you wouldn't have understood the business. So naturally, you will not come to know that there is a logic called as 200 queries and one single IP address and blocking in 30 minutes, this, that. So you wouldn't exploit that angle altogether. So tomorrow you might find an exchange in their query, which is okay. But is that be a big business impact for them? If this compared to this, they are saying that their business is that someone can tomorrow pull the whole database and recreate the database and tomorrow come up with another local search engine, which they don't want. They have invested in the resources. They have talked with so many people. They have come up with franchises and all and all. So they don't just want to lose the business in one day just because someone recreated the whole data. So these are the risks which we look from the risk-based analysis, risk-based penetration testing. Well, then there are a lot of other case studies. We will not go through everything. Well, I can just give you a nutshell information. We're running out of time. Is that this is one of the stockbroking companies in Middle East. Okay? So what used to happen is that this is a broking, exchange. So there has to be brokers. Okay, so to register myself as a broker, I need to give some identity. The typical identity could be my national ID, or it could be my driving license, or it could be my passport information, or anything. Okay. which can prove to be it's me. Okay, so after submitting that, there should be an online form. So you submit this, upload your JPG image of your passport, JPG image of your mobile bills, where you stay, or anything, whatever you can provide. So what used to happen is that, then what used to happen in their website, they had this search engine, and they also had something called as games. Okay, now, as you know, a lot of the time the brokers spend in just waiting for the correct time where the value actually goes up, right? So by the time they're just hovering around, they're just chatting. So this website said that, okay, let's give a game to them. Okay. Now the problem was there was vulnerability in that game. There was a username manipulation in that game. Okay, so if you put correct username, or if you could guess any username, it is to say password is wrong. So that means the username existed. So what we did is that then we went ahead and put and we understood what the logic of their application is. So they used to allow JPGs to allow for registering their brokers. Okay, so what did we do is that in their, they had a search function in their website itself. So we went there and just put JPG. Okay, as you can see here, in the search engine we put .jpg. So we were presented with results. Okay, you can see here that scan 001.jpg, and ASP SQLNet membership provider Nidal, ADX investor chart, then AFT Puri, okay, then ITS we raise. All these are the names of the people and their corresponding documents which they had submitted to register as a broker. Okay. So unfortunately there was this direct access, that's the URL to that access was not restricted. So I can just copy that URL. So this was basically the whole URL. Okay, the JPG thing over here we have asked, but it was to be a whole URL. So we just copied that URL and pasted it in the browser. And we used to see the national IDs or driving license or passport information which they had submitted, whoever has submitted for becoming a broker. We used to see their information without authentication. Okay. So now in US the privacy laws are very high. If this information is disclosed to public, the very next day the broking company or the exchange would go down. Okay. Now as you can see in this case, SQL injection is not going to be a big deal for them, or cross-site shifting is not going to be a big deal for them. But revealing of such information would be a big problem for them. Tomorrow their whole exchange might close down because of this vulnerability. You imagine that you register with a telco company, you provide your home address, mobile number and all. And tomorrow this machine gets hacked. So all your personal information is in the hacker. Is it not a big risk? Definitely. So there are a lot of other slides. We will not go through everything because of lack of time. But maybe we can take up the last thing about so cross-site scripting and all also we have shown. Maybe we can go through the slide when it's uploaded on the website. Well, now this is the last case study, we will not take much time. I know everyone is looking forward for the tea, so I will not kill that tea time. Okay? So this is basically a case study when, this US, this votings were going on, I mean elections were going on. Can anyone tell who this lady is? Sarah Palin. Okay. Now basically this is when, so this is the funniest photo, anything anyone can find. So as you know that basically Sarah Palin's account, Yahoo account was hacked. Okay. So there is this one blog which says that how this guy was able to, the hacker was able to hack into Sarah Palin's account. Okay. So the idea is that the hacker was able to trace all the communications that she had with the competitors and other people within the, and they were able to find out how she used to play politics in real sense. So this was a blog which the hacker has written on his own blog. We will not read everything. Basically, he is telling that how he hacked. Okay. The first thing is that what he did, finding Sarah Palin's email address is not a big deal. You can find out anyone's email address. Okay. Maybe not the password. That's what the challenge is. So he found out the email address of Sarah Palin, and then it took him 45 minutes to totally hack into her account. Okay, now he is explaining one by one that how did he find this out. So he is saying that the first question which was asked was what is his date of birth. Okay, now finding date of birth of Mahatma Gandhi is not a big deal. Or finding Nehru is not big. Similarly, for Sarah Palin is not a big deal. So he found out that he cracked within 1 minute. Then he is saying that where do you stay? What is the zip code where you stay? Now, unlike